Mahadeo, journalist and community reporter, and I dedicate my time to searching for the stories that matter the most. Positive, uplifting, and inspiring stories that spotlight the challenges and obstacles we conquer to become the people who we are today. I don't know about you, but I'm tired of all the fairy tale lifestyles that people seem to be living on social media. Girl, you did not wake up like that. I'm interested in the genuine connections, the honest opinions, and the real uncut version of your true self. This show is about keeping it 100% real, deconstructing who we are and what we're all about. Join me as we sit down with individuals to discuss the personal struggles, the many challenges, and the moments that define us on this journey of self-discovery. Let's be real, life isn't fair and people make mistakes, but every opportunity is a learning experience. Let's discover the truth together right here on Real Talk. Hello everyone and welcome to another edition of Real Talk. I'm your host Alyssa Mahadeo and I'm here for the second time this week because that's how we do things, because I'm out here always doing the most. So this week, today on Real Talk, thank you again for joining us on the show. Make sure that if you haven't already that you like and subscribe to our channel and follow me on Instagram because I post fun things sometimes. So today on the show we have a very exciting show ahead of us. Today I feel like a lot of my guests that come in, all of them kind of line up with things that are kind of going on in my personal life. And I'm like, oh, I need to know this. Oh, I need to do this. So I always make sure that I have enough questions, especially to ask my guests when they come on the show, about things that I find the audience will actually learn from and also might be curious about, so that you can learn from it and also get like the real talk take on it. So today on the show, I have Daniel Chin. He is a Chinese Trinidadian real estate investor, and he specializes in multifamily apartment properties in downtown Hamilton. So Daniel is going to be here today on the show to talk a little bit about his journey to entrepreneurship, how he got into real estate and also real estate investments, and then what it means to plan for your financial future. So really, I think our angle for today is going to be coming to the younger generation. When you're first you get out of school, you have no money because now you've got like 1,000,001 loans. And where can you get more money to secure your future? How can you start creating more wealth, more income for yourself? Where can you put your money to see it appreciate later? So today on the show, we've got lots of questions for him. Daniel is also the founder of Chin Properties. So he is going to be here. He is an entrepreneur. He's a young man, and he has lots of passion and belief for his community that everyone can be successful and also wealthy in the years to come. So we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Daniel is going to join us right here on Real Talk.
Are you retiring smart? Make your home's equity work for you. With your home's equity and our 30 years of experience, the Retire Smart Properties team can help you achieve the quality of life you've always wanted. Our services are 360 degrees. We'll give you advice, take care of staging and selling, and help you find the perfect home and community to transition to. It's time to enjoy the retirement lifestyle you deserve. Visit our website today to learn how you can use your home to retire comfortably. The Retire Smart Properties team, powered by RE/MAX West.
Welcome to Shadow Auto.
everyone, and welcome to another edition of Real Talk. Thank you guys again for joining us, and I'm here every Friday from 1 to 2 p.m. Today on my show, I have Daniel Chin of Chin Properties, and he's going to be here to tell us a little bit about planning for our financial futures. So thank you so much, Daniel, for coming on the show today.
Thanks for having me, Alyssa. It's great to be here.
Mm-hmm. He's coming all the way from Hamilton, too, right?
Yeah, the drive wasn't too bad.
That's good. I'm glad to hear. So, Daniel, tell us a little bit about yourself, how you kind of got started in the world of real estate and, kind of how you've worked your way up from there.
Well, what I would say, first of all, Chin Properties is a real estate investment company based in downtown Hamilton.
Mm-hmm.
We provide high quality rental apartments, and what we do is, improving properties, improving lives.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is we do. How did I get into the real estate business, Alyssa? It's a very long story, but for the time in the interview, what I'll say is, 10 years ago, Alyssa, when I was, in my last year of school,
Yeah.
and I was thinking like what most undergraduates are thinking, what am I going to do for the rest of my life? And but what I knew was one, if I was to do something for the rest of my life, Alyssa, I have to make sure I actually enjoy it.
Yeah.
I love doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And at that age, age 20, so because I'm turning age 30 this year, I had to also be able to take care of myself.
Mm-hmm.
Right, I didn't have any parents, at that age, coming into this country at age 14.
Mm-hmm.
So and that's getting into the real estate business. I really just fell into it.
Mm-hmm.
I would say at that age, in my last year of university, I was building houses with Habitat for Humanity.
Okay.
So that was one of the things I found very fascinating, where you can build something from nothing, and it provides a roof above people's heads, and it's they have a place to live.
Yeah.
So that was value created, and being able to have that experience with Habitat for Humanity, it just opened up my eyes, Alyssa.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, of course, the passion grew, the interest grew, and I, one day, again, when I was thinking of what am I going to do for the rest of my life,
I'm going to make money for myself.
one day my older brother came into my bedroom, and then he gave me a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad from Robert Kiyosaki.
Okay.
And then I didn't know what the book was about. It was, rich or poor, I don't know. So then, eventually, I would say the week after, I started reading the book, and everything started making sense to me, right? Meaning, you didn't really have to be, great at school to be the wealthiest or most successful person in the world. Most of the successful and wealthy people that you probably know of, Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, they all didn't finish school, but they made a huge difference and really changed, people's lives.
Mm-hmm.
So, those things made sense to me. And of course, in the book, Alyssa, it spoke about real estate. And again, I was building houses with Habitat for Humanity, everything was just piece by piece. It was starting to come together.
Mm-hmm.
And again, at age 20, 21, it was in my later years where I discovered that this is something I was great at and very passionate about. And I remembered one day when my mom, she said, Daniel, you read more books in real estate and in this stuff more than you read your school books. So in a month. And that's when I realized that this is what I love doing, Alyssa. This is what I will do for the rest of my life.
Yeah, that's a Trinidadian mother for sure.
Yes.
So, I found a really interesting story on Chin Properties on your website about your parents.
Yeah.
Where you kind of mentioned that you did introduce them to real estate investment themselves
Yeah.
after you had kind of, been in it for a little while and you realized the value in it.
Yeah.
So I would love if you could share that story
Yep. So when I first started, now I came from a background. There's no one has ever done real estate in my family. I have no real estate background in my family, so I wasn't born into a family where there was already an established real estate empire, and I don't have to start from scratch.
Yeah.
But that was not in my circumstance. So from in the beginning, it was a lot of really believing in what it is I'm doing, Alyssa, and really overcoming all of those mental, that you can do it, right? Because everyone around you, even your family members who you grew up with, you spend your whole entire life with, and then they sort of saying, no, it's not possible. No, you can't do it.
Yeah.
If it was easy, then everyone becomes rich.
Yes.
I never said it was easy, but I knew it was possible. I believed in it. So, I went and did it with the first property, acquiring the first rental property in Hamilton. We made the offer Christmas Eve 2012, February 28, 2013, acquired it. It was for 167,000. I still hold the property today, but when I first acquired it, that was when I was working in the bank, in TD Bank. So working hard, saving money, and that was how, and I put 5% down payment, right, on that property. So 5% of 167,000, roughly about 8,000. Today, the property is valued 400,000.
Wow.
So from that example, and this is just working out the numbers over a 5-year, how an investment can work for you. That's over 1,000% returns on your investment. It really is the power of compounding. So after I did it successfully, Alyssa, for 1 year, my parents, they asked my older brothers the question, we don't think we can ever retire, right? And my parents are the two most honest, hardworking people, right? They work hard and save their entire lives, but coming close to retirement age and asking yourself that question, that's a big concern. And what I felt, what I realized was a lot of baby boomers, right?
Yeah.
Born in from 1946 to 1964, they was on that same boat. We're coming close to age 65 and then thinking, I'm probably not going to retire, gotta still go find a job to work because the pensions are not paying too much. It was very concerning. So then my parents saw what it was I was doing, and they wanted to try one small property. And that was, I did one for them and then did that successfully, right? So over the years, after, proving that, it's not that scary, it is possible, right? And of course, it was a lot of work, Alyssa. A lot of work, wrestling with the banks,
That's usually
getting
how
the
it-
money from the banks,
Exactly.
and then now it's a bit tougher these days, right, with the mortgage restrictions with the banks. But in the beginning, that's how it was. It was always when you encounter a brick wall, Alyssa, you have to find a way to get around it, get through it, or somehow, to really overcome those things. Yeah.
How was it for your parents to kind of take that leap of faith into real estate investment and actually believing that it could work for them down the road in order to save for their retirement?
Alyssa, what I will say, up to this day, they still don't get it.
Yeah.
They, very loving people, okay, but sometimes when you are doing something differently for the first time in your family or family's history, okay, for centuries, okay, and it has never been done before, right? And you're doing it, even if I am, say, 50 years old or 60 years old and still doing it, they still wouldn't get it, Alyssa, right? But the most important thing is, right, what I think they know is I enjoy doing it. I love doing it.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm able to take care of myself. That's what all parents they want. They want to
true.
know if the children can be able to take care of themselves. Yeah.
Yeah, no, 100%. I know that for, especially again for West Indian Trinidadian parents like that,
Absolutely.
they just want to make sure that you've come out of school, that you're doing something with whatever degree it is that you've gotten. But I think they put a lot of dependency on the education to get you the job without realizing the amount of work that kind of goes into creating a financial future that you can actually live off of.
Yep.
At the end of the day. So we're actually going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to get into some of the conversations around real estate investing, what that is, and, just breaking it down for someone who might be brand new to this concept. So you're watching Real Talk. We'll be right back.
Hello, my name is Anisha, and I'm the production manager of TCN Network. Have you ever wanted to host your own show? Do you have a message to share? Well, you're in luck. We are looking for dynamic and unique individuals to host their own shows. We are seeking people who are committed, motivated, and energetic. Do you want to be the next Jimmy Fallon, Ellen DeGeneres, or Shane and Ryan from BuzzFeed Unsolved? Start here. Fill out the Propose a Show form on mytcntv.com. We're here to educate, support, and build the community. Can you lead by example? Go the extra mile and seek knowledge? Are you humble, disciplined, responsible, selfless, and enthusiastic? Those are our core values. And if you identify with them, you could be part of a growing network that focuses on positivity and uplifting our community. We can't wait for you to join us on TCN Network and hope to hear from you soon.
Welcome back. You're watching Real Talk. I'm your host, Alyssa Mahadeo. Guys, thank you again for joining us today on this wonderful Friday. It might be cold and icy, but we're having a good time here in the studio. Today on the show, I have Daniel Chin of Chin Properties, and he is here. He's helping educate us a little bit on, saving for your financial future, which is something that is terrifying to most of us, especially in the millennial generation. Daniel, I think we were having this conversation prior to the show, but I know that our generation is very scared of real estate, of buying and investing in things, because we can barely save for our own day-to-day lives.
It's true, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So tell us a little bit about, real estate investing, and how you would get started in something like this.
Well, number one, if you mentioned the millennials, Alyssa, the first thing is what I get from the younger people, and yes, I do still look young. Maybe it's good genes, but with the younger people, it's really having the initial capital, right, to have the down payment when it comes to buying the first property. Mm-hmm. So, as mentioned before, very difficult for the first-time home buyers, right? Since we had 5 interest rate hikes since July 2017. Mm-hmm. And then we have the mortgage stress test, which pretty much means if you qualify for, let's say, whatever interest rate in the bank, you add 2% on top of that, or the higher of the 5-year posted rate of the Bank of Canada, which I believe is 5.34%. So pretty much it means it's more difficult for you to qualify for a mortgage. Yeah. That's what it all means. Mm-hmm. Especially for the first-time home buyers. Mm-hmm. So with the millennials, what I tell them, I am a millennial as well as you, Alyssa. Mm-hmm. But with the younger people, is really most of them they spend, right. Don't spend too much, right. You or more than what you earn, you save, right. It's really important when it comes to building the initial capital to get started. Mm-hmm. Right, so a lot of the millennials, they think about instant gratification. So most of them, Alyssa, they spend a lot of money on entertainment, yep. On dining. They love eating out, and they spend money on travel. So they have probably seen more places and more parts of the world than their parents have seen or grandparents have visited.
It's the illness mentality. It's that you only live once. I gotta live right now in this moment, kind of thing. And what about the future?
And what about the future? So really, you start saving. So then you save up just like what I did 10 years ago, and then you have that initial capital to buy the first property. And if it is a rental property and it pays for itself, then 5 years, 10 years later, you would be a very happy person. That I can tell you. Yeah. So for when it comes to how they can get started in real estate investing, the number one thing I tell everyone is you have to understand 100% in what it is you are investing in before you invest. And that really means you must have the education, right? Get the education. So when I mean understanding what you're investing in is not just reading a book and say, oh, I know how to do it now. Or you Google something on the internet, Alyssa, and say, oh, I know how to do it. I'm the expert now. No, really understanding how money is made, how you create the wealth, how the business makes money, or the investment makes money. And understanding it so well, right, before getting started. Because when you lose money, it's not fun. That I can tell you.
Of course. Is that something that Chin Properties helps their clients with? Is that something that they sit down, like say I was a new client and I decided I was going to come and be like, Daniel, I'm looking to start getting into real estate investment. Let's just say I have a house. Let's just say I'm living somewhere right now and I'm looking to get into real estate investment because I'm looking to create more wealth, because maybe I'm actually looking to purchase a home. What kind of advice would you give me?
So what I will say is, yes, I do also educate people. I'm not in the seminar and workshop business. That's a whole money-making business. Tons of people doing it. I would say some of them are not good. They're pretty much scams, phony people. But then there are some good ones, okay? There are some good ones. But I do also speak about it, right? Like, being here today, and also, many of the speaking engagements, Alyssa. And I also have, I host a meetup, but I only do it when I have the time. So the next one would be quite in April.
Yeah.
And I do have, hundreds of people in the meetup, total about over 400 something people, right? But I do, I do my part. That's what I would say. But when starting off, right, if you don't have that, well, yes, you do have to get a mentor. If you don't have a really good one, right, you gotta go try to find a good one, right? Keep searching for a good mentor. But for me, 10 years ago when I started, Alyssa, I went to the library and borrowed books for free. And that I didn't pay a penny for education. That was how I started. And then that really expanded my mind and really, accumulated that the knowledge, right, from others who have done it before, and then to reinforce my belief that it was possible.
Yeah.
And in the beginning, when you have very little money, you gotta exercise, the resources you have. So the library, make it your best friend. That's what I would say.
So I know that a big thing, especially when it comes to real estate investments, anything to do with financial matters, is trust. How do you work to build trust with clients?
Well, number one, I think you have to do the right thing, right? When I started, it was a big lesson for me. No clients, no money. I learned the hard way. Yeah, number one and two, I was hungry. I learned the hard way. So, and you can't keep working for free. That's what I did. I love it so much. I'll even work for free, Alyssa, until I learned the lesson that if you keep working for free, Daniel, you never become wealthy. So I was helping a lot of people become wealthy, giving them a lot of value, but I would even do it sometimes for free. But now, of course, I charge, okay? So the question was,
How you help to build trust with
how
your
I help to build the trust. Well, I think you have to. I always focused on you build a good name for yourself. You build a good reputation for yourself. You do good work, and the money will come. That's what I always believe. 10 years ago, I thought like that. Today, I still think the same way. And I think the clients, when you do the right thing and you make them money successfully, Alyssa, they will keep coming back again and again.
people are happy. They see results.
They're happy, they see results, and the trust, it's how I built the trust with the clients over the years. It was really by doing the deals. And even with the building the trust and the reputation with everyone I do business with, the lawyers, the mortgage brokers, everybody in real estate, I built my reputation by doing the right thing when it comes to doing deals, real estate deals.
I think that's really important that we touch on building a positive reputation for yourself. That's with anything in any industry, really. And I feel like more so when it comes to entrepreneurship, because you're working for yourself, there's no one to vet you except you.
It's true.
You know, and it's you and the clients that you've helped out. So I think that's a really, really important thing to, make note of when you're looking to find someone to help manage your money or to get advice from before you commit to doing something. So we're going to take another quick break, and when we come back, we're going to continue this conversation on finances and investments. So we'll be right back. Welcome back. You're watching Real Talk. I'm your host, Alyssa Mahadeo. Guys, today on the show, I have Daniel Chin of Chin Properties, and he is here helping us to, navigate the complex world of real estate and real estate investments and just finances in general. I know I myself that's something that I struggle with understanding most days. It was not education that I was given in school. They told me go to school, learn things, do things, but no one taught me how to make money after the fact. So today on the show, we're talking a little bit about, planning for your financial future, what that looks like. And also, a little bit about what it looks like to purchase your first home. I know that, as we get older, we kind of start thinking about settling down, looking to, okay, well, where am I going to live? I just can't live at home with my parents all the time. What am I going to do? Where am I going to start? And, it's 2019. It's a whole new year. People are, excited about the year and what it has ahead of us. I think we're already 2 months in. So
yeah,
it's going to be
flying.
I know, time is flying. But what does the 2019 market look like for this year?
Well, my opinion, Alyssa, I do think that the slowdown will continue, right? I know 2018, it was really called the down year, or the slowdown. Things really slowed down last year, and I do see the same, the same, you can say, things that was in place last year. I do see it still in the picture this year, but in this year, it really is an election year. October we have the federal election. I don't think you will see too much activities in the beginning half of this year, meaning interest rate hike, not likely. But I think you will see in the second half of this year, possibly one interest rate hike. So why is that important? Is because if the interest rate goes up, it increases the cost of borrowing. If you have balances on your credit card, line of credits, any borrowed money, it increases your debt repayment. So then what does that mean for your bank account? Then that means you wouldn't have too much money left over. So what I would say is the most common question I get asked all of the time, Alyssa, is when is the best time to buy? I always say now because because if you don't wait to buy real estate is what I say. You buy real estate and you wait. So this year, I still think the market it has stabilized, since the beginning of this year, and I still think it will be healthy. But it's really, Alyssa, on how you position yourself, right? I think you can still be good and be well financially in good times and bad times, or even a slow year. So that's what I think. You have to hopefully make the right decisions this year. Do we have a call?
I think we have a question. Yeah.
Sure.
Hello. You're live. Go ahead.
Okay, we're live. We'll wait till they answer us.
No, we can take the call.
We can take. We're taking the call now.
Take the call.
Are you guys there? You want to ask your question?
Yep. Okay. Sure. We're talking to Daniel Chin.
Yes, we are.
Okay.
Who's
Okay.
calling?
We are. My name is Andrew, and this is Shelley here.
Okay.
And we're actually doing something with Daniel Chin, and Daniel suggested we should call in and say hello. We also have a question too, but Daniel's involved in a very worthy community project with us, and we just wanted to stop and call and say thank you.
Okay.
Well, what's the project, Andrew?
Okay. Daniel has been involved with us before. My name is Andrew, and Shelley is here. She is the publisher, and I'm the editor-in-chief of a business, lifestyle, and image magazine called SMJ Magazine. We've been in publication for 6 years. We look at a diverse community in the area of fashion design, arts, entertainment, health and wellness, and faith and community. And in the last few years, we've been looking at projects that are sort of the story behind the story in some of our publicated stories. And one of them came up last year on the Me Too movement, which, of course, as you know, has gone viral now for about a year and a half. But we wanted to look at it from a diverse viewpoint, because a lot of what's been shown in mainstream media only really looks at what you see in arts, entertainment, in media, and in the politics. And we wanted to look at the everyday woman. We wanted to see what that movement looked like on an everyday status. And so our project involves a documentary that cuts across all 5 major cultural backgrounds. 8 women are speaking stories of their truth. Like I said, they represent all 5 major cultural backgrounds. They also talk about their experiences that happened in all kinds of diverse places, not just in the glare of media, but in the home, at the workplace, in the community center, in the church. Everywhere that you would see people congregate, things happen. And then finally, we also, not only speaking of sexual abuse and harassment, we're also speaking of emotional and physical abuse and harassment. Daniel has come on board to support us in this venture. It's a worthwhile documentary. We have a media event coming up on March 7th, 2 weeks from today, in the beautiful area of East Toronto, the beaches. Daniel will be there, and he'll be one of our supporters speaking on the project. And then we have a world premiere of the documentary on May 9th, which is the Thursday before Mother's Day. The media event is actually the day before Women's and International Day. So the two events really nicely coincide. The location is the Fox Theatre at 2236 Queen Street East in the beaches. And we're very thankful that you supported us again, Daniel. And we just wanted to say, first of all, before we ask our question, thank you very much for your support at this very worthwhile venture. And this is a story that needs to get out in the way that it's getting out now.
Okay. Thank you so much, Andrew.
Thank you, Andrew. That's very kind of you. Very, very kind of you, Andrew.
Okay. Well, we have a question. Shelley, do you want to say hello for a minute?
Oh, hi, Daniel.
Hi, Shelley. How you doing?
I am well. I was watching the live. Well, we had a question, first of all, about the real estate. Andrew, you can go and ask him the question.
Yeah, actually, I think you were talking about millennials just a little bit earlier before the break. Ironically, we have 4 children between the two of us that are the early stage of millennials. They were born at the beginning of the period. We have 2 sons and 2 daughters between 30 and mid-30s. And 3 of them are in significant relationships, but nobody has a home. They're all looking. They're all hoping. And our question is this. In the Golden Horseshoe, where do you think would be good places to look for a starter home? Or is it more a question of what you should be looking for than where you should be looking for it?
Okay.
So I can answer that question, Andrew. Number one, your children, their significant others, if it's the wife or the girlfriend, you got to make them happy, okay? So it's what they want. Because, sometimes in couples, Andrew and Shelley, you have the female wants to live in a certain nice, beautiful area, and then the male just, is simple and boring. But you got to make the female happy, okay? Now, when it comes to which area specifically, you have the higher price areas like in Toronto, where the prices are ridiculously high.
Yeah.
Right? But you have to really assess yourself financially and see what really makes sense, what you can financially afford. So if it is looking in lower price areas in the 3, 4, or 500,000s, right? If the couple, both male and female, is in a higher income bracket, and they can afford something in the 5, 6, or 700,000, then you want to look in those geographic areas where what makes sense and you can financially afford. Mm-hmm. That's what I would say, Andrew.
Yeah, I'm thinking probably. I know you mentioned the 3 to 400,000, then the 5 to 7. What if we just say they're probably around right in the medium, which would be about the $500,000 range?
$500,000 is okay. Yep.
Yeah, that would. Yeah, what could they get? What should they be looking for? And I guess where should they be looking for it to get the best value for their money? Because I think they realize this sliding rule equation that applies to the Golden Horseshoe is sort of like the further you go out, the more opportunity it is. But it's a question of which direction do you go out? Is it better to go further east, further north, or further west? You can't go further south unless you come right around and start looking towards, I guess, St. Catharines, towards Niagara.
Yep, so I would say, of course, further west, like where I'm situated in downtown Hamilton, a lot of Toronto people are fleeing to Hamilton because it's affordable. The commute, it's still close proximity to Toronto, 30 to 40 minutes, right, with the GO train station. So you have a lot of, people from the east, like Toronto, going to the west where, it's more affordable. So in these times and in these uncertain times and changing times, Andrew, people go to the places that where prices are more attractive and more affordable.
Right. Okay, so it's sort of like the great secret that's Hamilton's International Airport. People should try to go around the bend and try look at Dundas, look at Hamilton, look at Stony Creek, because as long as they stay in the Golden Horseshoe, that may be the better place to go.
Yes.
Absolutely, Andrew. Andrew, we're out of time here.
Andrew, so
thank you.
Yeah, we've run out
you
of
so
time.
much.
We'll continue the conversation. We're gonna just take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
I appreciate
everyone.
the call, Andrew.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Are you retiring smart? Make your home's equity work for you. With your home's equity in our 30 years of experience, the Retire Smart Properties team can help you achieve the quality of life you've always wanted. Our services are 360 degrees. We'll give you advice, take care of staging and selling, and help you find the perfect home and community to transition to. It's time to enjoy the retirement lifestyle you deserve. Visit our website today to learn how you can use your home to retire comfortably. The Retire Smart Properties team, powered by RE/MAX West.
Welcome back. You're watching Real Talk, and I'm your host, Alyssa Mahadeo. Today on the show, we have Daniel Chin of Chin Properties, and we've actually been having an exciting show. We've got some callers that have called in to ask some really great questions around, where they're looking to buy, first-time home buyers, the younger generation of people looking to purchase homes, where they should go. And I'm sure, and Daniel, gave some really great answers. So we actually have another caller on the line. So we're gonna hello, you're live on Real Talk.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm amazing.
Can I ask?
Actually, go ahead.
Can I ask who this is?
This is actually Mr. Fresh. My real name is Dwayne Wright, CEO of Fresh and Famous Inc.
Okay. What can we do for you today?
So today, actually, I'm calling in because I was invited on the show through Daniel.
Yes.
And I'm actually CEO who has a Jamaican background, Jamaican Caribbean descent. I'm also the City of Toronto Youth Entrepreneur of the Year in 2010. What my company actually does is actually, I actually manufacture all natural air fresheners. That is an award-winning product as well. So I'm calling in as requested to kind of just join the show and just to actually join the conversation.
Okay, so did you have a question for Daniel today?
So, yeah, definitely. I guess the question I have for Daniel, for me, is as a Canadian entrepreneur in Canada, one of the things that Daniel is also my mentor and also a friend to me, personal friend as well. So just knowing Daniel, what it has done for me, it has helped me to actually change my mindset to a higher level and thinking larger. And also it has helped me to believe that I can accomplish anything in life. So one of the things that the question I have to Daniel is that being the CEO of Fresh and Famous,
currently, our revenue at our company right now is growing in sales at over 100,000, and currently our distribution center is basically in Oshawa. So the question I have, just for Daniel, is focusing on Durham region. What are the opportunities that you see for Durham region? And I ask that question because I personally feel that there's a huge potential opportunity there where it can be highly developed, and especially in the commercial space as well. So I would like to hear how Daniel answers that question.
Okay. So the question was about Durham region. Did you get it?
Yep. So the question is,
Hello?
you're manufacturing your products out of Oshawa now, Mr. Fresh, and you're looking at the Durham region being a potential area where you're looking for commercial real estate. So what I would say, Fresh, is you well of well, it's a bit broad. It's a bit broad, Fresh, but you really do need to have the capital, right? To when it comes to expanding your business, I do think it is a very great idea because if you are paying another manufacturer, right, to make your products, it's another cost of doing business. But if you can expand and own a commercial real estate building that manufactures your own products, then you decrease your cost of production or making the products, and you can increase your profit margins. So it's something to think about, but of course it's a very broad question because the Durham region, it's growing. You got lots more. You even have a planned casino, in that area that's coming. You have lots of commercial buildings, industrial buildings, office buildings, building in the Durham region. So it's definitely a good area. And of course, if the geographic location works for you and best for your business, Mr. Fresh, then, give me a call after the show. We talk.
I like that. That's definitely a really good question to have, especially about people who are looking, to find warehouse or commercial space, or I'm looking to open up a store. It's like, where should I go in the GTA? I didn't even really think about that, especially from an entrepreneurial perspective. And I kind of wanted to follow up on the last question that we had about, the areas in which first-time home buyers should start looking at if they are looking for new property, because I personally know a lot of people who have started kind of they've lived in Toronto for a while, but it was when they were single and they weren't married and they didn't have, a whole slew of things. They were going to school. And I've heard too they've moved out to the Oakville area and the Burlington and Hamilton area.
Oakville is beautiful.
Yeah. And I'm noticing that it's a trend that more and more people are moving out either that way or they're moving out to the opposite end, to Oshawa and Durham and things like that. But for you specifically, when you advise first-time home buyers, where it is that you tell them that they should start looking at?
Well, again, it really goes back, Alyssa, to what it is you can afford. If you can only afford 300, 400, or 500,000, or if you bump up the price, right, your budget to 5, 6, or 700,000 because you want a single family home, right, that may require a bit of fixing, right, again, you gotta make the woman happy. Okay, if it's your wife, you gotta make the wife happy. So you do have to be reasonable with the self, right? What's the reason for the purchase? And of course, is it you're purchasing because in a few years down the road you plan on starting a family, right? Is it you're just looking for a starter home or condo, and you live in it for a year or two, and of course when the finances get much better and stable, then you're having the first child, then you can upgrade into like a townhouse or semi-detached or detached property. So you have to think of all of these things and really have that conversation with your significant other, because it's not just one person making the decision. It's
Of
two.
course, of course. And it really comes down to, like, where do you want to live? What are you looking at? What do you need? Are you looking to have kids in the next couple years? And it's really like, sitting down and asking yourself those kinds of questions. If it's just for the two of you, then obviously you can probably afford a smaller space until you decide to start working on growing on your family and things like
What
that.
I do find, Alyssa, is most of the younger people, the millennials, if you look at all the geographical areas in all different cities, what I do find is the younger people, they either live closer to the transit lines, the GO train station, they live somewhat, close in the urban areas where there's tons of amenities, because again, it's their needs. They love eating out. They love going for walks in the park. They love spending money. Okay. And so you see a lot of the young people in those geographic areas. And I'll tell you by example. On Boxing Day last year, I went for a walk in downtown Oakville for the first time, right? And they still had the Christmas tree up there. I went for a walk with the girlfriend, and in downtown Oakville, in Starbucks, there was a lot of like young people, like around my age. I'm not accustomed with that in downtown Hamilton. A lot of old folks in Hamilton. A lot of old. But it's good because you see the energy. It's very, very vibrant in the streets in downtown. So most of them, you really see them in those areas where it's close to the malls, it's close to transit lines, and of course, it's close to work. So that's what I would say, Alyssa. In those areas, you're more likely to find millennials living in those areas. That's the future.
Yeah. And I do see that. I see that, again, just in trends and hearing what people talk about and hearing what my own friends are talking about. They're like, I feel like I've seen an article just the other day where prices in Toronto housing is kind of going through the roof now. It's increased so much that people are just like, I think it's time to leave. And everyone, again, is moving outwards into smaller towns and stuff like that. And I mean, I think it's going to create a positive ripple effect just because it's going to start kind of building out those areas. More people are it's going to be more appealing to more people now. And they're going to be like, oh, there's actually things going on out there. Maybe I should go and check it out.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, it is, like I told the previous caller, when the housing market is getting hotter, prices are rising and things are starting to become not really affordable. People flee to the housing areas that is more affordable and the prices are more attractive, because at the end of the day, right, if you're paying rent or you're paying a mortgage, that's a huge chunk of your monthly salary. You want to still have... You
also have things like your mortgage, you've got insurance, you've got a slew of bills to also pay. So if you can't afford to live in that house, what are we really doing at the end of the
Absolutely.
Day?
So don't, you want to have some money left over to have fun.
Of course. That's what we like to do as millennials. Yeah. Anisha, is this our last segment? Okay, all right. So, Daniel, thank you so much for coming on the show today. Thank you for answering the questions that you did. I hope that our audience gets a little bit more clarity on what financial or what real estate investment and, a little bit of financial advice, what it looks like to plan for your future, some steps that you should take, some questions that you could ask just to get started, especially if you're looking to speak to someone like Daniel who has knowledge on this type of thing. Again, if you're looking to reach out to Daniel after the show, if you have any questions, you can either comment on the feed. I'm sure Daniel will look at it so he can answer those questions to you, or you can give him a call or connect with him through any of his links that are going to be in the description box below. So again, thank you, Daniel. I do appreciate your time.
No, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right.
Guys, thank you again for watching Real Talk. It's been a slice, and I'll see you guys next week.